Spider, I
In today's world of video games, the fear of missing out has become a common part of the gaming experience. What started as an industry focused on creating engaging stories and gameplay has, in many cases, shifted toward a model designed to keep players hooked. FOMO is one of the tools game developers use to encourage players to keep coming back. Through features like limited time events, seasonal passes, and exclusive items, FOMO taps into our natural fear of missing opportunities, pushing us to play more than we might otherwise. But what is FOMO in gaming, and why has it become such a powerful force? FOMO works because of how human psychology responds to loss. Studies show that people dislike losing something more than they enjoy gaining the same thing, a concept called loss aversion. In gaming, this means that when players see a countdown timer or hear about a limited time event, they feel pressure to act before it's too late. Missing out on rewards or experiences can leave players with a sense of regret, which developers use to encourage frequent engagement. It's a simple idea. If players think they might lose something special, they will be more likely to stay invested. This tactic has proven very effective. Players log in more often, spend more time grinding for rewards, and sometimes even spend money to make sure they don't miss out. Social media has only made this pressure stronger when you see friends or streamers showing off a rare skin, weapon, or achievement. It's hard not to feel like you're falling behind. FOMO turns these digital rewards into status symbols, making players feel even more compelled to chase them. However, not all games use FOMO the same way. Some lean into it heavily, making it a key part of their design. Others use it more lightly, giving players chances to revisit content they missed, and a few reject FOMO entirely, focusing on permanent rewards that let players enjoy the game at their own pace. Let's take a closer look at these categories. Games that rely heavily on FOMO often create high pressure for players to keep up with new content. Titles like Fortnite, Destiny 2 and Call of Duty War Zone are prime examples. They use seasonal passes, rotating events and exclusive rewards to keep players coming back. If you miss a single season or event, the content is gone forever. For people who love these games, missing out can feel like losing a piece of their experience. Then there are games that avoid FOMO nearly entirely. Titles like Helldivers 2, Outlast Trials, and Warhammer 40k Darktide show that it is possible to create rewarding and engaging experiences without time-sensitive mechanics. These games allow players to unlock content whenever they want, letting them enjoy the game without feeling pressured by deadlines or events. FOMO isn't just about how individual players feel, it also affects entire gaming communities. On the positive side, it can create excitement and give players a reason to come together during special events. Limited time modes and seasonal updates can keep games feeling fresh and exciting. But on the downside, it can lead to stress and burnout. Players who don't have time to keep up with the demands of heavy FOMO systems may feel excluded or left behind. FOMO in its heaviest form dominates many of today's most popular multiplayer games. Developers intentionally design systems to create a sense of urgency, ensuring the players feel compelled to log in frequently, grind for rewards, or spend money to avoid missing out. These games often rely on mechanics like battle passes, limited time events, and exclusive collaborations to keep players hooked. The result is an ecosystem where the fear of missing out isn't just an occasional feature, it's the driving force behind the game's design. Let's examine 3 standout examples of games that epitomize this approach: Fortnite, Destiny 2 and Call of Duty War Zone. When it comes to FOMO, Fortnite is often regarded as the pioneer of modern gaming's obsession with limited time content. Its battle pass system and rotating item shop have set the standard for how games can create a constant sense of urgency. Every Fortnite season introduces a new battle pass filled with exclusive skins, emotes and cosmetics. These rewards are only available during the season, meaning players must complete challenges or grind XP before the season ends to unlock everything. Once the season is over, the items vanish, never to return. This creates an intense pressure to play regularly, as missing even a single season can mean losing access to iconic skins like Peely the Banana or collaborations with brands like Marvel or Star Wars. Fortnite also leverages its rotating item shop to amplify FOMO. Popular skins and items appear for limited windows, sometimes as short as 24 hours, and their return is unpredictable. For players invested in the game's ripened community, owning rare or exclusive items becomes a status symbol, further reinforcing the need to check the shop daily. This approach has made Fortnite wildly successful, but it's not without consequences. Players often report feelings of burnout, particularly when they struggle to keep up with the relentless pace of new content. Destiny 2 takes a slightly different approach to FOMO, combining its narrative-driven seasonal content with limited-time events and exclusive rewards. Bungie has crafted a live service game that evolves with each passing season, offering players new stories, activities, and loot to chase. However, the structure comes with a price, a heavy reliance on time-sensitive content. Each Destiny 2 season introduces unique weapons, armor, and cosmetics tied to the seasonal activity. Once the season ends, this content often disappears, creating a strong incentive for players to stay active. For those who miss a season, the gap can feel significant, especially if key weapons or gear are no longer available. In addition to its seasonal structure, Destiny 2 features limited time events like Festival of the Lost or Solstice. These events bring exclusive cosmetics and themed rewards that disappear once the event ends. While these events add excitement and variety, they also place extra pressure on players to participate during specific windows, regardless of their schedules. For fans of Destiny 2, these mechanics add a sense of urgency and community. Players rally together to complete content before it's gone. However, the downside is clear: anyone unable to commit to the game's seasonal grind risks falling behind and missing key parts of the game's experience and sometimes story. Call of Duty War Zone rounds out this trio of FOMO-heavy games with its own take on limited time rewards and collaborations. Like Fortnite, Warzone relies heavily on battle passes and rotating cosmetics, ensuring that players feel the need to log in and grind regularly. Each Warzone season introduces a battle pass filled with operator skins, weapon blueprints and other rewards. Much like Fortnite, these items are only available during the season, and missing out means they are gone for good. Additionally, Warzone has leaned into FOMO through its high-profile collaborations, such as tie-ins with Godzilla vs. Kong or The Terminator. These events bring exclusive, themed items that disappear after the event ends, leaving players with little time to decide if they want to invest in the game. While Warzone's FOMO mechanics keep the player base engaged, they also create an atmosphere of constant pressure. Players often describe the grind as overwhelming, particularly when paired with the game's highly competitive environment. In games like Fortnite, Destiny 2 and Warzone, FOMO is more than just a mechanic, it's the foundation of the game's ongoing engagement strategy. For developers, this model is a financial boon, encouraging players to log in frequently and spend money on exclusive items. However, for players, the experience can be exhausting. The relentless pace of new content leaves little room for breaks, and those who step away often feel like they've missed out on something significant. While heavy FOMO can drive excitement and keep games fresh, it comes at a cost. For players juggling school, work, or other responsibilities, the pressure to keep up can turn gaming from a source of fun into a source of stress. As we move forward, we will explore how other games use FOMO more sparingly, striking a balance between engagement and accessibility. not all games lean on FOMO to engage their players. A select group of titles takes a different path, choosing to prioritize accessibility, flexibility, and long-term enjoyment over time-sensitive mechanics. These games allow players to unlock content at their own pace, ensuring that no one feels pressured to log in daily or meet specific deadlines. By nearly cutting FOMO entirely, these titles respect their audience's time. In this chapter, we will explore how games can nearly avoid FOMO completely while still maintaining engaging gameplay. Helldivers 2 exemplifies a game that avoids FOMO entirely by offering a progression system without any time restrictions. Players can earn weapons, cosmetics, and gear through consistent gameplay with no risk of content being locked behind limited time events or battle passes. This design choice allows players to engage with the game at their own pace, whether they play regularly or take breaks. The absence of FOMO fosters a more welcoming environment where everyone has equal opportunities to enjoy the full range of the game's content. Instead of using urgency to drive engagement, Helldivers 2 relies on its cooperative gameplay and challenging missions to keep players invested. You can earn super credits for the superstore and the war bonds entirely through gameplay, and can unlock everything without ever spending a single dime if you want. By making all rewards permanently available, the game shifts the focus from keeping up to simply enjoying the experience. A refreshing approach in an industry often dominated by time-sensitive mechanics. Warhammer 40k Darktide also rejects FOMO by ensuring that nearly all in-game rewards and content are permanently accessible. Players can unlock cosmetics, gear, and upgrades through gameplay at their leisure. Seasonal updates introduce fresh content, but none of it is tied to strict time limits. There exists an in-game shop which works with real money, but in my opinion this is more of a way to support the devs while getting cool outfits. Also, the refreshment rate of the shop is monthly, so it isn't as fast as others where keeping up is near impossible without going broke. This approach creates a low-pressure environment that encourages players to dive into missions and experiment with builds without the fear of falling behind. Darktide focuses on its core strength: immersive combat, rich world building, and cooperative gameplay, rather than relying on artificial deadlines to keep its audience engaged. Additionally, Darktide allows players to return after long breaks without feeling penalized. This flexibility is particularly valuable for those with busy schedules, ensuring that the game remains enjoyable for both casual and dedicated players. In Outlast Trials, players are given complete freedom to progress through the game at their own pace. The game's horror-focused cooperative missions are designed to be replayable, with rewards and unlockables that are available indefinitely. There are no time limits, events or battle passes, meaning players never have to worry about missing out on exclusive content. There are of course events like Geister or Winter Kills, which have limited time items, but they come back each year, so if you miss getting them this year, just play it next year. By eliminating FOMO, Outlast Trials prioritizes the experience itself, ensuring the players feel in control of their time and achievements. Games like Helldivers 2, Warhammer 40k Darktide, and Outlast Trials demonstrate that FOMO isn't necessary for creating engaging and successful games. By removing time-sensitive mechanics, these titles empower players to enjoy the game on their terms, free from the stress and anxiety often associated with FOMO-heavy games. The benefits of this approach are significant. Players can take breaks without feeling like they are losing out, leading to healthier gaming habits and stronger long-term engagement. Communities around these games also tend to be more inclusive, as newcomers can join in at any time without worrying about missing crucial content. From a developer's perspective, eliminating FOMO requires a shift in priorities. Instead of relying on urgency to drive engagement, these games focus on creating deep, rewarding experiences that stand the test of time. This approach might not generate the same short-term revenue as FOMO-driven models, but it builds trust and loyalty within the player base, a valuable asset in the long run. players themselves play a crucial role in determining the future of FOMO in gaming. As communities demand more ethical and player-friendly systems, developers are increasingly forced to adapt. Speaking out about exploitative practices, supporting games that prioritize accessibility, and being mindful of personal gaming habits can all contribute to a healthier gaming culture. Additionally, players can foster more inclusive communities by embracing newcomers and those who may have missed certain content. By shifting the focus from exclusivity to shared enjoyment, communities can help reduce the social pressure that often accompany FOMO-driven systems. So, the future of FOMO in gaming doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing proposition. Developers can still use FOMO as a tool to create excitement and engagement, but they must do so responsibly. By embracing flexibility, transparency, and inclusivity, the industry can move toward a model that balances engagement with player well-being. This evolution is not just beneficial for players, it's a smart business strategy. Games that prioritize player satisfaction and trust are more likely to build loyal, long-term communities. As competition in the gaming industry grows fiercer, the ability to create sustainable and enjoyable experiences will become a defining factor in a game's success. This was a video I wanted to make a long time ago because I think that it's a topic that is more and more important than it was ever before. We see games like Black Ops 6, Fortnite or Destiny 2, which in my opinion kind of lost their identity they had for a long time, and it kind of saddens me, but at the same time I found extreme enjoyment in titles which don't have these FOMO heavy systems. And maybe this video or some other video will help to find a shift in these gaming communities so we can move forward to a system which focuses more on player well-being and that players can enjoy a game rather than feeling stressed out. And I had the idea for this video recently when I revisited Black Ops Cold War and I wanted to play the multiplayer, and so I had some characters which I hadn't unlocked, so maybe I can unlock them now. I mean, I have time, the holidays, and I realized that 7 characters were not unlockable anymore. They basically were behind the paywall and I had to pay for a skin, but it wasn't the original skin, it was just a skin, so I have them. And are we really have to enjoy these systems? I don't believe that, because this is not the gaming community which I learned to love. This is not the community where I found a safe haven when the world was crumbling around me. So maybe this video will help, and maybe this video will reach the right audience, and we can discuss a little bit in the comments how you feel about this. And besides that, the video will probably be out on holiday, Christmas morning, Christmas Eve. I hope I will make it. I'm recording this now while editing the video, so fingers crossed. But I wish you great holidays and I wish you a wonderful new year. If this will be the last video for this year, I have a lot of things that are planned for next year, so stay tuned, stay healthy, and tell me what you think about this topic. Alright, goodbye and see you soon.